I'm going to start this video off with a quick warning that in this video I will be giving quite a lot of criticism towards the devs, criticism towards the game in general, and if you can't handle some admittedly harsh criticism or you just don't want to hear it, then I suggest you just click off this video because it's not for you. Now, I don't really post a lot. I got like 2 videos on my channel and they're very different from this one, but I've been wanting to make this video for a while, but I never really knew how to put it into words without just sounding like a 9-year-old throwing a temper tantrum because there wasn't an update every month. But I believe I finally found the words, and now I'm ready to make the video talking about the state of SCR and why I think it's genuinely a problem. I also want to start off by saying that I absolutely love this game. Like, ever since childhood, I've been playing this game since 2019, so that's like a solid almost 7 years ago. And, I just really, and that's why it's also sad and infuriating too, to an extent that just to see how the game's currently doing, and it just feels like it's just stagnated and just not going anywhere. Anyways, without further ado, we get into the video. So in this video, I'm going to be covering one significant problem that this game and its community faces. Also, if you're wondering why I'm using this as a background, it's because SCR is actually broken right now. You can't load in. You can join the game, but you can't load in. So, yeah, pretty sure the issue lies with Roblox, but I'm not really entirely sure. Anyways, first thing I want to talk about today is the communication, or more accurately, the lack thereof, between the SCR devs and the community itself. Now, look, I get it. Game development is tough and it takes a lot of time. I'm not a developer myself, but I can totally see that it takes a lot of time, and not everybody can just do that. All right. Um, but here's the thing: the SCR devs have just this habit of going completely silent for months at a time. No updates, no teasers, no "hey, we're still working on this," nothing. Just complete radio silence. And for a game with such a dedicated fan base, that's not just frustrating, it's honestly kind of hurtful. This isn't about expecting a new train, remesh, or map expansion every week or so. I'm not unreasonable, but when the community is left in the dark with no idea what's going on behind the scenes, it makes it feel like the devs don't really care about the players who've been really keeping the game alive. A quick message on Discord, or even just a brief "we're still here and we're working on something big," would go a very long way. Instead, we get these long stretches, think of 2 months of just complete silence from the devs, and when something does drop, it's often vague or it just kind of feels like an afterthought. Let me give you some examples. 2.2 update had just come out, and after that there was just complete silence for 3 months. That may not seem like an unreasonable time for some of you watching, but keep in mind that the developers of British Railway have at least a new speak every week or so, and their game is developing half the size of SCR's. Or another thing, which is actually frustrating me like crazy, was back in August, and they were remeshing the Zero every week, right? So we first had 350, then we had the 185, and then we had the 360, and I was actually happy. I actually thought, okay, we're getting a sneak peek every week. There's going to be more transparency, and I could genuinely appreciate that. But then they drop the 360 and they just drop everything and just disappear in the thin air. And I don't know what happened. I don't know if they just didn't feel like it anymore, if they just ran out of one-liners to use because they were dropping one-liners for every zero they were sneak peeking. But they just decided to drop everything and just go completely dark for what's now been more than a month. And honestly, that's really what just tipped me over the edge, because really I don't get it. They didn't run out of trains because the class 444, the class 707, and the class 717 are all still the zero trains that really need to be remeshed. Like, I just can't wrap my head around as to why they would do that. Like, I can only imagine that something personal may have happened, or that something just happened behind the scenes that really forced them to drop everything. Like, it was that important. And honestly, I can get that. That can happen sometimes to a developer. But then they need to communicate that to the community in some way. You don't have to say every detail of it. You don't have to say exactly what happened. Just say that there are delays or something's going on, so that we at least know what's going on. Because now it just looks like you just decided to stop because you didn't care anymore. You just don't want it to. That's at least how it feels to the community. All right, now before some of you guys are going to go in the comments, because I know some of you guys are already itching to go into the comments and talk about but the devs don't owe us anything. They're doing this in their free time, and I get that. Sure, that's true to an extent. But when you've built a game that's become a cornerstone for so many people, and when you've got thousands of people invested in your game, there's a responsibility to at least talk to your community. And others are going to say the devs have personal lives. And trust me, I get that. Nobody's expecting them to work on the game 24/7. But saying they have personal lives just isn't going to cut it as an excuse for months of silence. If we're running a game as big as SCR with thousands of players waiting for just anything of value to come out of the developers, you gotta at least check in. Like, a Discord post takes like what, 5 minutes? Humans out here like putting actual a lot of time into the game, like literal hours of time into the game, and keeping it alive. Like, we're not asking for their entire lives to be surrounded by SCR and the development of it, right? We just want them to show that the community does mean something to them, because right now it's just like I said before many times, it just feels like the SCR community is just more of an afterthought than really, the main goal here. You know what I'm saying? Which is just a huge problem for a game which relies on engagement from the community. When there's only silence coming from the devs, rumors start flying and morale in the community drops, and people will eventually lose interest, especially with British Railway and other competitors to SCR, garnering more attention in the Roblox public transport scene. And, people with nothing coming out from the devs, people will just start looking for other things. That's what competition is for, you know? And I've personally seen people like friends of mine who've just given up on SCR because there's just absolutely no transparency coming from the dev team. So please, I know there's like a very slim chance of a dev or anybody in the higher up in Stafford County Railway to actually see this, but just in case somebody's watching this, please just try not to take this too personal and just try to read into what I'm actually saying over here. Just it just With the transparency and everything, I just wish there was more transparency and better communication between the community and the devs, because I think that is an actual problem. And honestly, if you could just fix that problem, I would say like what, 30%, 40% of all of SCR problems are pretty much fixed, because really it's that which is keeping the community in a lot of distrust, sometimes a little bit of disarray even. Uh, but yeah, it's very unlikely that devs actually going to be watching this, considering I have like 26 subscribers. But it's worth a shot. And also, I'm just here to voice my opinion. So, yeah. Um, Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you disagree, if you agree, if you have something to add, or just want to like inform me of something that I said wrong or whatever. You can just leave a comment down below. This is my first time like ranting about a subject, so my apology if it was kind of like all over the place. Uh, I just hope I got my point across. Again, I truly love this game, and I think this game can truly be so much more. But the current state of the game is just saddening, and something really needs to happen before it just goes down a path which there's no return from. Not sure if I'll make another video like this. Maybe this video gets a lot of support, but I doubt that. I just want to see how many people share my opinion and just get a conversation going. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I appreciate all y'all.